Hi, my name is Ken Zhang from Basis International School, Parkland Harbour, and today I'm going to give a presentation on my paper named The Role of Textbook Idols on the Formation of Feminine Identity in Mainland China. Firstly, I'm going to report this paper in 5 parts. In the first part, I'm going to give an introduction, then I'm going to define the problem, then I'm going to try to solve the problem using the 5 aspects of identity. In the 4th part, I'll introduce the factor of digitalization, and in the 5th part, I'll conclude my presentation and give prospects for future research. Firstly, let's take a look at the general landscape of my paper. First, the theoretical framework used is a dualistic approach to social identity, which involves horizons or the societal rules and individual life experiences. Also, I use the 5 aspects of identity theory to further narrow down my research into identity. Second, my research methodology was the method of literature applied to studies in social identity theory in recent English literature. 3, my research findings. In this research, I find that digitalization shortens the lag between social changes in textbooks, and textbook idols positively affect identity formation. Okay, let's take a look at this set of data before we narrow down this problem to the title of our paper. This data shows the engagement in education across female and male. As we can see, for primary education, 88% of female engage in it and 91% of male engage in it. Therefore, 3% more male than female attend primary education. However, when we take a look at tertiary education, the number of female, 41%, is larger than the number of male, 36% by 5%. This shows a statistical incongruency, because we usually think that the higher percentage rate engaged in early education will naturally lead to a higher percentage engaged in later education. This data shows just the opposite, which hints at a potential interpretation, which is that there are a lot of female who have the potential to engage in tertiary education, but was denied to join primary education, therefore posing inequalities an important problem in contemporary education. Now let's narrow down the problem to textbooks. On the left here, I have showed a data from a 2018 study on economic textbooks. It shows that for all the economists, 92% were male, and for all the policymakers, 93% were male. However, this is different from the actuality of the world employment of female and male in these studies, in these disciplines. 37% of all national parliamentarians are women, and 26% of worldwide economists are female. This shows that there's actually more female engagement in these disciplines in the actual world than represented in textbooks. This is different from our original conception that textbooks are supposed to lead us to a better society. According to this, textbooks are actually dragging us down in our progress towards a gender equal society. And it is posing another problem that we have to deal with. Lastly, let's take a look at what I mean by textbook idols. Textbook idols are major figures that appear in textbooks or other educational materials that may serve as role model for students, usually academically. This is highly different from idols as we know it in popular culture, which are indicated to people with high fame, usually singers and dancers. In this case, idols could be anyone, people like Isaac Newton or Mark Twain, who are given high esteem in textbooks and in curriculums, who students might align themselves with as their ideal person to become. The problem I try to explore is, how do idols in textbooks influence the development of feminine identity? This problem is significant because it textbook idols are highly influential to the development of a pupil's identity through education, as I will soon be demonstrating in the part following this. Now, let's first analyze it by taking the big idea of identity apart into 5 different aspects. The first and second aspects are the biological, psychological, and physiological aspects. These aspects are hard to alter through education, and they're even treated in the field of psychology as opposed to nurture in the nurture versus nature debate. Idols, by extension, are insignificant and have almost no influence on the first 2 aspects. The third and the fourth aspects, however, are more influenced by education in that they're influenced mainly as a result from peers, classmates, but instead of the teacher and the course being taught. Therefore, idols contribute to the individual identity by developing a one-sided relationship, that is, the relationship only from idols to students, but not in return. This one-sided relationship does influence individual identity, but its influence is highly limited by 1, it does not influence the group identity, and 2, it is one-sided. Number 5, let's take a look at the ideal aspect. This aspect is effectively altered by the content of the course and the teacher. Idols, therefore, have an almost exclusive influence on this 5th aspect of identity, and Chinese students internalize idols as expected by the educational system through recitation and other methods that are similar. Another way to approach identity is to break it down into 2 parts instead. I call this approach the dualistic approach, that breaks identity down into life experiences, which are unique and personal interactions with the idol in question, and social horizons, which are expectations and interpretations realized by the social historical society in which the individual is placed. This causal diagram here shows the general flow of how textbook idols influence identity and be influenced by identity in return. Firstly, following the publication of the textbooks have a variety of information that are exposed to students, include their profession, their personalities, and their gender percentages. I'll focus on their personalities as they may create life experiences with the student in question. And all of them affect the social horizon on gender. And as we said, social horizons are interpretations of society. And feminine identity and social horizon both influence societal opinion on gender, which in the long term will affect the publication of the textbook and complete the cycle. However, the problem here is that it takes a long time for societal opinion to affect textbook publication. As we just said, in the policymaker and economist example, the society might have a completely different set of values for feminine, while the textbooks still maintain the old values. This is due to the fact that textbooks are generally immutable, and it takes very much effort and a long time in order for textbooks to be reprinted, to be republished, and redistributed. And in fact, textbooks are usually designed as to use in the long term. And this is mainly why it poses a problem to, say, feminism or gender equality. Now, let's put this into context. The COVID-19 epidemic and the general trend as we step into the informational age is that there's a massive increase in textbook digitalization and brought a fundamental change to the relation between the textbooks and the students. And I will summarize this change in 3 main aspects. The first is polycentricity. Textbooks are more effective due to the polycentric nature of digital technology as suggested by Blomart, and the polycentric nature of identity. As we just saw, identity, they involve different aspects that will influence each other. Textbooks therefore root deeper into identity and affect more than only the 5th aspect. It will perhaps influence the third aspect, the individual aspect more, and even impact the group aspect as teachers use digital textbooks in more ways. This will lead us to the second part, which is delocalization. Interactions with idols are no longer one-sided, but two-sided due to technology that both figuratively and literally revive these idols in some way. This might be a revival of it in sound through the use of audio technology. It might be a revival in tactile through the use of interactive screens. Therefore, these idols experience a kind of rejuvenation due to the anachronism of their beliefs. Now, anachronism here refers to a concept that the belief the idol had at the time was displaced to our time. This means that the idols have a stronger influence on them identity. The third aspect is personalization. Interaction with idols are personalized due to their increasing interactivity. This leads to idols influencing femme identity both as an influencer of horizons, as we just saw, and as a source of personal experience, as now we're able to build one-to-one relationship with textbooks instead of many-to-one. Most importantly, however, the lag between societal opinion and textbooks are shortened, and in some cases, even removed, hence causing textbooks idols to no longer be immutable, but instead fluid, interactive, and personalized. In conclusion, as digitalization blossoms and matures, the lag between societal actuality and textbook idols will shorten, and more aspects of feminine identity, both in the 5 aspects approach and in the dualistic approach, will be affected. The discussion of textbooks will be a growing concern, therefore, for future feminist movements and education reforms. This means that textbooks are not only more effective, but more positive in that they reflect the society actuality and can be used to lead society in a positive direction instead of keep referring to the historical actuality. There are 3 main points that I want you to take away from this paper. 1, fluidity. The boundaries of textbooks are blurred due to the rise of new forms of digital material and digital technology, such as educational websites and games. It is hard now to define textbook as a physical object than as a general concept that can refer to a list of products. 2, reactivity. Textbooks will become increasingly reactive to social changes as digital ones can update and respond to these changes quickly. 3, humanization. The prototypical idol from textbook will be increasingly human as teachers shift from a lecture-style learning to interactive learning and creates an atmosphere where textbooks, idols, and students can engage in a free interaction. Here are my references for my paper. Thank you very much for your time and attention on gender issues, and I hope you have enjoyed this conversation. I am the corresponding author, and if you have any question or concern about this paper, please refer to me using this email. Thank you.